Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Edo and David M. Thank you for coming. Today is going to be ghost stories. First story is going to be A Mother's Love. Some people actually go out looking for ghost encounters, and everyone once in a while they find one. When Kevin was a teenager, he and his friends had heard about a dangerous turn on the nearby highway that caused many accidents over the years. It was now haunted. The most well known story was of a mother who took her own life after her son had crashed his car and died. But it was said around that her ghost remained at the deadly turn to protect people from ending up like her deceased child Kevin and his friends decided to put the theory to the test. At night, Kevin drove his friends out of the highway. When a group of boys arrived at the turn, they poured over the bought a bag of flour with them and proceeded to sprinkle the white powder on the road, the grass, and the car. The idea was to get footprints to provide that the ghost was indeed real. The boys hopped back in and began to take the car around the turn. Kevin ac- accelerated faster and faster, and thump! And if the car came to an abrupt halt, if someone had slammed down on it with their own two hands. They immediately got out of the car and saw two women size handprints in the white flour on the hood. Let's see. Huh. That was okay, wasn't it, huh? It's not that scary. Welcome to welcome, David M. Everyone. Happy Halloween. Here is another. The ghosts in the hall. Four young women moved into the old New England apartment together. You know, the top with the squishy floorboards and the long, dark hallway. A month after they moved in, one of the roommates realized that her favorite stuffed teddy bear was missing. The others all said they hadn't touched it or seen in weeks went by, and she almost forgot about her teddy. When something strange happened, she opened the door to one of the closets. They heard every use and they're on the tap, top shelf, said her furry friend. All her roommates swore they had no idea how it had happened. Now, whatever, the teddy bear goes missing for a few days. She knows exactly where to find it. The apartment probably had all those others. Oh, now that's not bad. Next story: at violence in the desert. Two young men in the 20s, Josh and Dan, went on a camping trip together in the desert in New Mexico. They didn't take much with them besides sleeping bags, food, and materials for a fire. After they cook their dinner, they first sleep as they gaze up into the starry night sky. The beauty and peace of the trip were short lived. However, in the early hours of the morning, Josh was started awake by what sounded like David's voice. But panicked it! The voice said, "Come here, quick, look." Sleeping and confused, Josh got up to see what his friend was talking about. He heard again, "Come here, quick, look." It sounded unnatural, a perfect repetition. Josh took a few steps forward, and then someone grabbed him from behind. He turned around to see Dan with his finger in front of his mouth, warning Josh to keep quiet. They rolled up the sleeping bags and left the seat on. They didn't know what was trying to look Josh away into the desert. Echoes of the past. A young blaster of the beginning of his career became very successful very quickly, so he bought himself a house. One morning, he awoke to the sound of a running water. He rushed into the bathroom and saw that the bathtub faucet was running on full blast. He was pummeled by this as he lived alone. A week later, it happened again, only this time it wasn't just one faucet. It was all the faucets in the house. The young man called a repairman to fix the pipes and the water damage. But as it turned out, the pump wasn't broken. The woman who lived here before you said the repairman she done in the bed. You guys, you better Go to the bathroom to see if your faucet is not working. You could see a dead body in the ghost of the faucet. You better check, guys. I'm telling you, it could be true. It could be very damn true. You know that. You know, Cliff. Next story. No one stays twice. This time I'm going to do a little thing. Alo went to the same convenience store every day after school for a snack over time. He became good friends with Law, the the cashier. Law, out of curiosity, one day Edo asked Law how he would stop someone if they tried to steal. From the store. Law replied, "Oh no, one ever sees anything from here twice, the store will let them." Edo didn't know what that meant, but dropped the subject. When she when he went back to the store at the start of the next school week, Law walked in find Ada walked in to find Law talking to some cops. Apparently, a man stole from the store and drove off. But his brake mysteriously failed and the car went soaring off a cliff. The cop asked Law if he knew what had happened. "No," he said. "I was stalking the back room. I didn't even know he come in. No one ever stays twice." Hmm. I don't know. You think eh, hmm. How you guys like the story? Supporter, what's up? Frankie Pants, what's up? When the candle burns, three little girls were having a sleepover. One night, when they decided to try to hold a sentence, one of the girls, Clara, recently lost her grandpa, wanted to see if she could commune with his spirit. The three girls gathered some candles, a few items that belonged to the late grandfather, his watch, his cigar case, and a photograph of him. The girls held hands and started the scene. Suddenly, the candles began to flicker, and the hands on the watch began to spin. Clara was sure it was her grandpa, Elliot. She began to talk to him and ask him questions. When all of a sudden, one of the candles flew as if by some invisible force, almost hit her head. Grandpa would never do that. And whoever it was clearly did not like being disturbed. That's why you should always be careful when smoking spirits or using a orgy ball. Oh. It's ghost stories. Jeff, the curse of the eldest son. Isaac's parents came to the United States from Pakistan. Before they were married, Isaac's father was engaged to someone else. It was an arrangement marriage, and the prospect made him unhappy, so he broke it off. The woman went off the deep end. There were rumors in the town that she had started using black magic. She even ran right up to him in the street one day, screaming. She had put a curse on his eldest son so that he would die before he reached manhood. In fact, Isaac, older brother, the earliest son, died in a car crash on his 18th birthday. Hmm, very interesting, isn't it, people, huh? Be very careful. Hmm? Never ever break engagement. It could happen to you. The invited party guest. One night, a group of adults was having a dinner party. There were six of them. Oh man, hold on. Oops. Let's story. Hold on. Give me 1 second, people. Okay. Oh, there it is. The invited guest party. One night, a group of adults was having a party. There were six of them, and they had all just taken their seats when they heard an expected knock at the door. The woman hosted the dinner party opened the door to see who it could possibly be, but no one was there. Somebody must have realized they had the wrong address. She explained to her guest, but when they all turned their extension back to the table, there was a seventh plate set. Was that there before? One of the men asked. I must have set an extra place by mistake, said the hostess. She took it back to the kitchen, but when she returned, another plate was there, this time with the glass next to it. The other guests had been talking among themselves and hadn't seen anything strange, but when they realized what had happened, they were shocked and didn't know what to do. At this point, they figured the best strategy was to play along, so they filled the empty glass and played so as not to upset the mysterious uninvited guest. While you might not get your very own ghost to show up this Halloween party idea will make for a scary good time. Next story. After hours. It was 9 o'clock, time of the store to close. Ado, Devin M, and Cliff were the only ones working as they were cleaning up the store. A pile of shirts fell to the floor. None of the boys had touched them. It's probably the ghost, David M. said. Very funny, said Cliff. No, really, Elo replied. He's a little boy. He likes to play. Cliff still didn't take them seriously. Though he thought they were teasing him because he was younger. But when he went into the bathroom to get the keys to go home, he saw a flash of a young boy in the mirror next to him. When he looked back, the keys had been placed on the floor. The lonely Ferris wheel. The carnival came to town every summer, and this year was no different. But Charlie had just started working there, so he didn't know what the rest of the workers knew about the Ferris wheel. He was in charge of opening the first night of the carnival, was bursting with people, but as it came time to close, it was practically a ghost town. However, there was one boy who showed up at the last minute. One for the Ferris wheel. Please, the boy said, giving Charlie a ticket Charlie looked around. Where are your parents? He asked the little boy. The boy just took his seat and didn't answer, unsure of what to do. He let the boy go on the ride, but when the ride was over, the boy was no longer in the seat. Charlie ran to his boss to tell him the story. The boss casually said, "Oh, that's Thomas." He handed Charlie a clipping from an old newspaper. If he had boy's picture and the headline, "Boys Boy fell from Ferris wheel, 8 years old." The Laundry thief. A woman and her daughter moved into a new house. The mother worked a lot, so it was up to the girl to do the household chores, including the laundry. One day, the girl went down to the laundry room and put in a load of clothes. When she came back, the door to the washing machine had already been lifted open. "That's weird," she said to herself. "I thought I closed it." She shrugged it off, but the next time she did it, laundry, it happened again, and that's not all. Each time it happened, one piece of his clothing would go missing. One time it was a sock, the next a pair of shorts, and so on. After a few weeks, she went down to the laundry room again to find a complete outfit set on her set out for her, while all the clothes that had been missing. Next, the child in room 213. A director went on a business trip for her company. When she arrived at the hotel, she got the key card for her room 213 and went straight up. She was exhausted and couldn't wait to sit down, but her key card didn't work. She went down to complain to the front desk and promptly got a new card. That one didn't work either. Just as she was storming off to go back to the lobby, the door in the room cracked open a little. A boy had opened the door and he was standing in the dark. She went to the front desk again. "There's another family in the room," she said to the man. "No, they're impossible," he said. "No one has checked in but you." The traveling from the traveling photograph. After Anne's dog Bo passed away, she started carrying his photo with her everywhere. She loved Bo more than anything, which is why she was so heartbroken when she lost the picture and lived in a big city and was sure she never found it. But when Paul's birthday came around the next year, she found the polygraph in the closet next to his old leash. Good dog, Paul, she whispered. Next story, the shattered glass. Sam, Peter, and John meet up every day after work for a drink. This time they decided to try some place they had never been before. They said the place is haunted. Peter told his friends of the bar they're choosing that night. The other two insisted that was nonsense, they all two and they all sat down in a booth. When the drinks arrived, they were about to make their usual toast when both Sam and Josh's glasses completely shattered. What's give? They yelled. Apologies, said the waiter. That happens sometimes. Now it's ghost stories. The daughter's scarf. One freezing January night, a man was driving down deserted road. The snow was picking up and quickly turning into a blizzard, but the man was not the only one on the road. There was another man driving behind him. The other man flickered his car lights to signal him to stop, and both men got out of their cars. The second man stretched out his hand and gave the first man a pink scarf. It was soft and looked just like his daughter's. The man who gave him the scarf had a terrible look in his eyes and a terrible smile. To meet Fantasy, the father jumped back into the car and speed home, where he found the police already waiting for him. The waiting in the dark. An engagement couple planned to have their wedding at the favorite restaurant, but on the day of the wedding, the bartender fell down the stairs and died. Now, it's said that every night after the restaurant closes, the ghost of the bar walks down a scary, very stairs she fell from and sets up all the tables and chairs for the wedding. Guess she never got to see. Three three's a crowd. Two sisters were at home while the parents were at the out in an event. One evening, they stayed up late, talking and telling stories in the older sister's room. Suddenly, the conversation was interrupted by the sound of loud music. They looked at each other, confused and uncertain of where the music could be coming from. The older sister got out of bed and began walking down in the half down the hallway. It surrounded like the music was coming from the parents' room. She peered into the dark room and her father's laptop open, screen on, music blaring, and right then the music stopped. Scared, the girl went back in her room, where her younger sister was waiting on the bed, fighting. She shut the bedroom door behind her and got back under the covers, holding her little sister tight. They heard the slow, heavy footsteps, one after another, heading toward the end of the hall. When the footsteps stopped, boom, 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 three hard knocks on the bedroom door. No one came in, but they certainly didn't try to leave the room for the rest of the night. Hey, supposed to scare you. Uh, a physical warning. Not all spooky stories are scary. Sometimes that does otherworldly. Frank was at the mall one day by himself when in the middle of walking from one store to the next. An older woman ran up to him, gasped the breath. I ran all the way from the other end of the mall to find you because I sensed you were here, she said. Frank had no idea who this woman was. He was understandingly fighting. He tried to push her away. Then she said, I have to tell you, your brother's death was not your fault. Frank was stunned. He had never met her before his life, but she somehow knew that his brother had died, that he felt guilty. Frank's brother had been a drug addict. He called Frank the day he died, but Frank didn't pick up the phone. Your brother doesn't blame you, she said with competence, satisfied that she had fulfilled the duty. She walked away and disappeared back into the crowd of shoppers. Frank broke down in tears. Last story. When art takes life a little too closely. There was a house in a small neighborhood in Maryland. They went overboard with Halloween decorations. Every year, whatever this crisp fall air ward in the entire town would look forward to the unveiling of the new display, but no one ever really talked to the person who did the actual decorating. He was a loner. People only knew him for his Halloween spirit, and the decorations became greater and more lifelike every year. The newest one was a valet, the emperor named hyper realistic blooded manicures were pierced through with wooden stakes and left to the crowds in a gruesome display. It was the ultimate work of Howard, so much so that it caused quite the conversation in the town. While some loved it, many of the local parents wanted to take down the children shake. So a town officer made the trip to the house. Soon after the unveiling, the decision the matter with the man who lives there. She knocked on the front door. No one answered. Knock, knock! Nothing. She rang the doorbell. Nothing still. It was then that the officer realized there was potent smell in the yard and on several putrid smell in the yard. Amount of bugs buzzing around for this time of year. She wandered over to one of the mannequins to get a close look at the caribou craftsmanship. The smell got worse. She gasped it and had to put her hand over her mouth. Her eyes went wide. The officer put her trembling finger up the dot and felt the soft, smooth coat touch of a human skin. After that, no one was able to locate the man who once lived there. Now it's truly a haunted house. Well, you guys, thank you. I'm coming. I'm gonna come back tonight to the mall. Well, man, how you guys enjoying that? How you guys like the scary? How you guys like it? I don't need one. Here is another story. You guys, thank you for coming. Thank you, Edo, Devin M, AVA, Cast, Nancy Du, Jane, Cliff, Saber, thank you. Thank you, Frank. Thanks. Chapola, thank you. Sean, thank you. Also, Stricken Manning, thank you for coming. Jeff, thanks. Sean Little, thank you, everybody. Big Chief, Father Fights Back. AVA. I think the name. Wait, I think I tell your name twice already. STC one. Market Canada, thank you for coming in. You guys, I'm gonna be back later on to get more ghost stories. I'm gonna find more scary. Hey, Chuck, thank you for coming in. You guys take it easy. I will come back probably tonight. Peace out. If you guys do trick or treat, be careful. And please don't scare anybody.